Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of the SEGA News Bits. I'm your host George and with me is Barry.
Hey buddy.
Okay, no. Alright, we also have Bartman and Kori-Maru from our site, and Bartman does stuff for Sega Retro, or Sonic Retro. So wait, both.
Well, maybe Sega Retro too. I write for the wikis every now and then.
So there you go. We're going to be talking about Sonic Forces and the gameplay demo Sega had at E3 2017. First of all, you guys have never played. This is the first time it's been playable to the public, right?
That's true.
Alright, so first, I think the most interesting part of this was the custom character and the Nintendo Switch version, which we've never seen before. And Bartman, you played that version, so you want to start it off by telling us what you thought of the Nintendo Switch version playing as a custom hero.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's like the only version I got to play when I was at E3, but Sega was showing all three versions running at the same time. Originally, I thought that they were only showing the Switch version without the dock, but if you went over to Nintendo's booth, they were actually showing the game in the dock itself. And if you look at the footage of that, it looks like that there's like a lot of lighting missing, and the frame rate's cut in half. And when there's a lot of action going on, the frame rate has an even harder time trying to keep up. But when it comes to the avatar, for all the demos, they didn't give you a whole lot of options other than what weapon you could use. You could either use the fire weapon, or you could use the whip weapon. And I just used the fire one because it just had a farther reach, and I could just use it no matter what. There was no ammo consumption or anything like that. The strange thing about the Switch version is that its avatar level was different compared to the other two. Like, all the demos were exactly the same except for the avatar level between PS4 and Xbox and with the Nintendo Switch. Just the Switch version was Park Avenue, and the other two were using Green Hill. From what I understand, though, is the Park Avenue level is set like at the kind of like towards the beginning of the game, so that's why people are having a hard time with the Green Hill one, because it was supposed to be somewhat later as you progress through the story.
Did you ask the people at Sega if there was going to be different level design for the Switch version and the PS4 and Xbox One version?
I did not, but looking at the different versions, like I was like watching other people play the games, it doesn't look like we're going to have a situation like Sonic Unleashed where we just get completely different levels. My assumption of what happened is that they couldn't get the Green Hill level up and running in time for E3 because the Switch version is just, the Nintendo Switch hardware is just that much different compared to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So we may not see this kind of console parity ever again, like further down the line of the Nintendo Switch and all these other platforms. So who knows what's going to happen with that?
I think that the custom hero has had like a mixed bag. Like, I've heard people say that it's the best thing about Sonic Forces. I've heard people say it's the worst thing about Sonic Forces. What's your take on the custom hero gameplay?
I haven't felt that strongly about the custom hero. Of course, keep in mind, for the demo, they are giving you a randomly selected custom hero, and you can only pick between the two weapons at the beginning of the stage. But I thought they played fine. It's pretty similar to how modern Sonic plays, but he doesn't have the custom character doesn't have a boost, nor does it have like any kind of spin dash. But it has a grappling hook instead, which allows them to get over to different parts of the level, also to gain extra height depending on which grapple points you jump onto, and it also acts as that character's homing attack. Of course, you can use that character in both 2D and 3D sections. The weapons that you can use have unlimited ammo, and you can just use them at any time, which I thought was kind of weird, and I think that's the part where I thought it was a bit too easy. Because the stream for the fire weapon is so long, I just wasted all the enemies no matter who I ran into, because they all just died in one hit.
Yeah, I looked at it. It reminded me of when you get all the weapon parts in Heavy Barrel, and you can just take out the entire stage. It's like...
Exactly. I really hope they can find a way to tone that down before the final version, but this could also be like just for E3 for demonstration purposes. They just want you to get an idea of like how exactly this works, like how customization works into playing Sonic Forces. But because there's so many variables, I think it's just too early to tell what this feature is like.
They didn't drop rings, right?
Yeah, for all characters, for Classic, Modern, and the custom character, you can't drop rings whatsoever.
That has to be to keep the line moving.
It might be, but I'm also kind of assuming because it has this dystopian feel to it, I think it's just to give like this idea of like this is like the hardest Sonic you'll ever play or something like that.
What did you play? So Corey, what did you play?
I played like all 3 of them. Modern Sonic had one level. It's pretty much like the Sonic from Generations and Colors, but I want to say he's more lenient towards Sonic Colors because he has like the double jump and the stump and the boost. The boost mechanic is I feel like it's a little toned down too. It's not like, you know, boost to win, because like when I was using the boost in order to get through the level a lot quicker, it kind of like drained drastically, and he had like better controls than he had in Generations. Like I said before, it's more, I feel like it's more lenient to like Sonic Colors and stuff, and but one of the moves that he didn't have was the drift mechanic. So I'm not sure if they're gonna like either, you know, probably like add that later on to the game's development and stuff.
So what was your opinion on Classic Sonic in Generations, and how do you feel about the new Classic Sonic gameplay in Forces?
In Forces, he plays a lot better than he was in Generations. He doesn't feel stiff. Like he feels a lot more, you know, loose, but in a good way. He also has like the drop dash from Sonic Mania, which I'm wondering if like Sonic Team took inspiration from the guys who worked on Sonic Mania. And his level featured a boss fight against Dr. Eggman, which is like a callback from Sonic the Hedgehog 1, but instead of like a wrecking ball, he has a buzzsaw that swings around to the platforms and stuff. And once you do enough damage, his machine will go to the second phase and brings back Egg Dragoon from Sonic Unleashed. Which was pretty awesome what they did there, and the boss music was really, really good. It has that retro feel to it, so like I assume like with all 3 different gameplays they'll have like, you know, different musical tones. Like Modern Sonic is more, you know, with the modern music, the rock and all that stuff. You know, Classic Sonic has, you know, the retro 16-bit music to it, and then you got like the Avatar levels, which is like more focused on vocal lyrics, like similar to like Sonic Adventure 2.
And what was your favorite version of the gameplay to play as?
I want to say Modern Sonic, with how much they improved from like Sonic Colors and Generations. It felt so smooth. I played the PlayStation Pro version, which ran like 60 frames per second, compared to like the Nintendo Switch version. Now for Avatar, I played the Green Hill Zone, which was on the Xbox One and PS4. I want to say you might have to be a little patient because it's more platform heavy. You might want to watch out for like, you know, use your weapons wisely against like upcoming enemies and stuff, because like some of them might show up unexpectedly. I kind of died a couple of times in one section of the level where there are like unknown stage hazards where like the metallic legs will like stomp on the platform and it'll like break the entire bridge, make you fall into the sand.
So that was actually going to be my next question. What stage do you guys play, and what do you guys think about the level design for those stages that you played?
I want to say for the Avatar level, I think hopefully they can like restructure some of the level design for Green Hill Zones.
So that Avatar level for the Green Hill, like it has quicksand pits, and for some reason those you just fall straight through, and I noticed that kind of caught people off guard when I was watching other people play it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just really only played the Park Avenue level. I kind of feel like some of it was automated when you would get to certain grappling points where it would just the camera would swing out and give you like a sweeping view of the area you're going to be going to next. And I just don't recall hitting any buttons to lock on to grapple points that were like that. There were some that were just standard in the level, like the 2D sections, and show a lock-on symbol and you can just hit the jump button again and the your character will grapple onto it, and then swing to a higher area. I just really hope that there is going to be sort of a difference when it comes to making your own custom character. Like, I don't think we're going to quite see the same kind of feeling you would get when you play as Knuckles in Sonic 3 for the first time, you know?
Yeah. I was going to say, my last question that I have is, there was 3 versions, or I guess 4 versions technically showed at the event. The PlayStation Pro, PlayStation 4 regular, Xbox One, and Switch. Which one are you guys going to pick it up on, and which one do you guys recommend, I guess?
I'm planning on picking up for the PlayStation 4 for the frame rate and it has to be like the most greatest like Sonic game with like the best graphics of that console. I might pick up the Switch version later on too, because I wouldn't mind playing Sonic Forces on the go whenever I'm going on trips and stuff.
And what about you, Bartman? Do you think the Nintendo Switch version is good enough, and does the portability actually make you want to have that one more than the PS4 version?
Aside from the performance issues that I was running into, I think the Switch version would be fine if you just want to play it on the go. But you may want to, like I said in the preview, you may want to keep in performance in mind if you want to play it on a big screen TV. And if you don't have like a beefy PC, which is probably the version I would recommend, I would probably say the PlayStation 4 version is guaranteed going to be the way you would want to go. And it's guaranteed for support with the PlayStation 4 Pro. Because I know at the event they announced the Xbox One X, and I haven't heard anything about there being enhancements, but I would imagine that Sega and Sonic Team would go back and add in support for the Xbox One X before the game ships out this holiday.
What do you guys think about the lines compared to like Mario Odyssey or the big games? Was this kind of a smaller affair?
Yeah, pretty much. It was pretty small. Mario Odyssey had like a huge line. Like you had to probably wait for like 3 or 6 hours just to play the game.
Well, you had you had a huge booth dedicated to Mario compared to those cramped little hallways that Sega had to provide for us. But you know, the lines were also going to be a bit different since that game was also shown off at Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft's booth for those respective versions. So there's probably more people, but with everybody spread out, it probably made the lines a little bit shorter, which in a way I'd say is a good thing because you could experience the game much quicker.
Barry, you want to close it up?
What? No. Absolutely. What should I say, George?
Just, Alright, I'll close it up then.
You close it up.
I think you need to force an ending on this one.
Yeah.
Actually, this is good. If you guys have any questions for them, ask them in the comments below.
Hey, yo, yeah.
Us rambling would be good enough for